Aquaman 2 is about to have a groundbreaking, earth-shattering, historic box office bomb. You know that guy that peaked in high school, the high school quarterback that everybody loved, who's now just kind of sad and pathetic? Uncle Rico? Yeah, Uncle Rico! DC has become Uncle Rico.
Back in '82, I used to be able to throw a pigskin a quarter mile.
But how did we get here? Not that long ago, this franchise was averaging around $1 billion grossed per movie. I've dug into this oddity and come away with 3 main reasons for the Uncle Rico-fication of the DCEU, and we'll explain this by doing my laundry. Oh wow, it's heavy. Plus, an open letter to DC at the end of this video for all of those who stick around. Point number 1 is hype. What was the last thing that you were hyped up about? Minecraft in space? Or perhaps a pink toy commercial about the horrors of being alive. Every year, we get excited for the next big thing. The new big movie, the new big game, the new big celebrity drama. But why? What drives the hype mobile? Is it the hope for something new and exciting, or the promise of something we already like made better? Before 2015, no one in their right mind would have thought seeing Aquaman on the big screen was even a possibility. He was a joke.
Yeah?
No one cared about him, his fish powers are putting him in a dark Zack Snyder movie. But here we are years later, Aquaman's fish wiener has been the talk in many a mom book club. He made his incredibly awkward debut in Dawn of Justice, got his own standalone film that grossed more money than any other in the DCEU, and now has a sequel, something Man of Steel couldn't get. The appeal of the film itself took on many forms. James Wan, the acclaimed director behind the Conjuring films and Saw, was on board, bringing in nerds like me. Heartthrob Jason Momoa was the lead, bringing in the book club. He was paired with Amber, the sexy herd, bringing in the 12-year-olds. And we had never seen these characters get live-action adaptation before, calling all the comic book geeks.
And I was like, damn, Nicole Kidman!
So with all these things in mind, it's not outside the realm of reason that this movie made a ton of money. It's got lots of sex appeal for a PG-13 movie. But if hype can take on many forms, what happened with Aquaman 2? It seems to hit all the boxes. Same with Wonder Woman 2, The Suicide Squad, The Flash, Black Adam, and Shazam 2. Movies that all failed to some degree. These should generate some level of hype, right? In the case of Aquaman 2, it's just not new anymore. We get a villain from the last film, the same characters are all coming back, and a similar fate of the world plot. It's nothing fresh. Then you tack on the behind-the-scenes drama coupled with a loud and lengthy Amber Heard trial, and suddenly you get theater after theater on opening night utterly empty. There was no hype. But this is the least of the problems with the DCEU. The last point is where the real damage lies.
Yeah, you and me.
However, point number 2 is similarly important to understand the calamity that James Gunn has acquired. And this point I'm calling the Lost World. One of the biggest draws in films is who directed it. But why on a film where there's hundreds, if not thousands of people working on it, does one person have so much credit given to them? It's similar to going to a nice restaurant. If you go to McDonald's and spend $5, all you can reasonably expect is that it fills you up. Bonus points if it's hot. However, if you go to an expensive place, you not only expect it to fill you up, but you expect it to be hot, delicious, and worthy of the price tag. Directors are like the chefs of the fancy restaurant, the Martin Scorsese's or the Gordon Ramsays. You know what to expect from them, and you're willing to pay a premium for their specific experience. They have an identity they infuse their food with.
Belly dance. That was a belly flop.
DC as a whole just has no identity, and that might be fine if the individual films did, but even those have lost their sense of self. We used to get that brooding and dark and graphic Zack Snyder food from the early DC films, which DC ultimately threw out, throwing the other projects into a state of limbo. It's not really dark anymore, but it's not that lighthearted Marvel thing either. DC used to let Zack Snyder make a Zack Snyder movie. They let James Gunn make a James Gunn movie, and James Wan make a James Wan movie. Black Adam is like an AI movie. The Flash is a nightmare of ideas smashed together, playing on your nostalgia, and Wonder Woman 2 is unfortunately still a Patty Jenkins movie.
Why not wish for more?
But they don't know what you're taking from them!
We want what we want!
I think expectations are hugely important for appealing to an audience. If they don't know what your movie is, what it's about, or see a clear identity with it, they're not gonna be interested. What is Aquaman? Why should I go? The Snyderverse is gone, and the Gunverse is coming. This is like nothing. It's in the middle of the two. No wonder no one wants to see it. Leading us to our final and ultimate point, the Grand Canyon. These are still a little wet. A giant crevice that stretches as far as the eye can see. Some people like seeing it from one side, and others like seeing it from another side, which helps the Grand Canyon not be so packed with annoying tourists all in one place. Films or a series want to have the opposite problem. You don't want your audience in a million different places. You want your audience to all be in the theater watching your movie. But how do you unite them in a way that something like Barbie did? The problem is a combination of all the other things we've talked about. There isn't one clear thing. These movies aren't dark and violent anymore, so you lose the Zack Snyder crowd. Nor are they saying anything new or interesting, so you lose the crowd that wants to see something new and interesting. Then there's the people that want to see their favorite character for the first time. This is the sequel, so they aren't interested in that either. Then, to make a bad thing worse, Warner Brothers seems perfectly fine allowing bad things to consistently happen on or outside their sets in the name of the bottom line. Ezra Miller still being allowed to be the Flash after everything that happened turned a lot of people off. Same goes for Amber Heard in this. When you don't take a stand for something, the people that do leave. After all these divides, what does that leave you with? People like me, the morbidly curious. And there's not many of us, so appealing to us is a bad fucking idea.
What the heck are you doing?
Oppenheimer is a movie that doesn't make $1 billion because people knew or cared about the man the film is named about. So how did Nolan pull that off? It's simple, and this is my open letter to DC. Take what you're doing and do the opposite. I'm serious. Don't rush into things. Bring people on board who actually want to make a movie for you. Stop the director for hire bullshit. Stop bringing in people that want to make a movie only to saddle them with tie-ins and post-credit scenes and characters that are forced into their films. You don't need a grand plan. Anyone that says you do is lying.
This is the plan. This is the one we should have done. That was the one.
The original Star Wars trilogy didn't, Ghostbusters didn't, and Willy Wonka didn't.
Don't just stand there, do something!
Hell, police, murder.
Get back to making movies the way they should be made. And of course, you should probably fire people that, you know, do horrible things.